Gardens resident Frank Stronach hit the headlines when he teamed up with the Russians and became a favorite to acquire GM's European operations. The deal has the Russians cutting a $2 billion check, while Stronach's auto parts supplier, Canadian-based Magna Corporation, would run the operation. Stronach's American thoroughbred horse racing empire, which is a separate corporation, filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy 2 months ago. And although most of South Florida GM dealers are tight-lipped about losing their franchise after GM's bankruptcy, local car pros say few, if any, of 19 GM dealers in Palm Beach County and along the Treasure Coast will be affected. Already, major dealers like Chuck Schumacher and Roger Dean said they have not received a notice pulling the franchise. Saturn dealers in Stewart and West Palm Beach, however, face an uncertain future as GM plans to dump the Saturn brand. And in a related matter, South Florida Ford dealers are capitalizing on GM's bankruptcy. Although Ford Corporate is taking a gentlemanly approach, dealers are making sales pitches casting doubts about GM's ability to honor warranties, which they can, part shortages, and general disarray at GM headquarters. Ford dealers are also coming up with cut-rate pricing and incentives geared to match GM's heavily discounted sales campaign created to lure wary buyers. Well, coming up next, I talked with South Florida businesswoman Melissa Andrews, who specializes in innovative ways to help business people find collection solutions. And in an interview taped earlier, I asked Melissa how she got into the business.
Well, I actually started in the construction industry, and when the economy was, doing what it was doing, having come from residential real estate, it just found a way to be an expert in an industry that I knew.
Well, if there's the collection business, there can't be a better business than the construction business to earn your wings in learning the collection business, because the construction industry is just built for collection problems. Is that what happened with you?
Well, I actually learned originally in the construction industry, but at the same time I was with a professional service firm. So our industry is really based towards the construction industry, professional services, and now we've just recently picked up homeowners associations.
Yes, that's another thing with homeowners associations in South Florida, with the economy the way it is, and the way the people are not paying the maintenance fees, and they get delayed in paying them, and then it gets involved in foreclosures, and it's a complete mess. How can you correct something like that?
Well, the idea is to be compassionate with homeowners that are going through, whether they've been downsized at their office or something, but at the same time they have to appreciate that they do have an obligation, and it is not their neighbor's responsibility to maintain that payment for them. So in being compassionate with homeowners and trying to put them on a real repayment plan and to get them back on track so that everybody can keep their home.
Yeah, that's the best way, because a lot of these people are ashamed of not being able to pay, so they let it go until it's almost the end, and then get the foreclosure notice from the attorneys, and they go berserk. How can you help them avoid that?
The best thing that they can do is to actually respond, whether it's our office or it's another office that's contacting them in regards to the non-payment. The best thing that they can do is to pick up the phone and to speak with them. Somebody will be compassionate and work with them on a payment plan.
All right, it's not usually like with the debt relief people, they're what they advertise, they're swamping the media, the electronic media, and they're saying get rid of these harassing collection calls. Now, you don't get involved in the alleged harassment calls, do you?
No, sir. As a matter of fact, our motto is that not all collection agencies are pit bulls.
Right. Yeah, because there are a lot of pit bulls out there that create more problems than is necessary. Well, okay, when you get involved with business, and most businessmen, small businessmen, hate the collection problem. They just that's just the way it is. It's in the genes. How can you advise them to find a solution to their collection situations?
Well, that's a great question. I'm glad that you asked that. The answer is to be proactive rather than reactive. And we offer everything on the AR side of the transaction as an outsourced solution to a small business provider.
Okay, so I can call you up and say, can I put you on a retainer or something, or say you're my collections person from the very beginning with all my customers? The small businessman doesn't. He's afraid he'll anger his customer by asking him for payment, and he doesn't want to do that.
That's exactly how our We Call program works. We actually work on a retainer basis for small and medium-sized businesses. Our rates actually start at $199 a month. They're geared towards the small business person, and when we make those phone calls, they are very nice. So they're very soft, and we're actually calling on behalf of the client. They don't even realize they're being called by a collection agency.
I got you. Well, okay, for $200 a month roughly, you take care of all the collection problems, or do you take a piece of the action too?
No, that's just for the phone calling portion. We don't take a percentage of that base at that time.
Some of these collection guys out there, they're taking 50-60% of the deal.
We do offer that service, and that is a third-party collection, and that's once you already have your headache.
Yeah.
The idea is to not have a headache and to avoid a collection issue, and that's what our We Call program is all about.
Okay. Well, what about just an example of the landscaper? He's got a $300 a month client out there, and he's got several of them, and it's now 3 months down. They owe him almost $900, and he's out there, and he doesn't want to upset him by trying to collect from him. How does he approach this?
What we would do is we would contact the homeowner, and we would build upon the long-term relationship that he's had, and we would work with the homeowner. For instance, if their bill is $300 a month, we would try to get them to pay $600, $500, $400, just something above what they would normally pay, and over time they will eventually catch themselves up.
I got you. Well, listen, Melissa, it sounds like you've got a really excellent approach to collections, which is obviously a very vital and integral part of any small business or any business, and it's really neat that you're handling it in a compassionate way. And we're putting up a telephone number and a website on the screen in case any small business people out there are having a collection problem, which they are in today's down market, and they could probably get a hold of you. Maybe you can help them out.
We would love to, and again, the idea is to be proactive rather than reactive.
I got you. Okay. Melissa Andrews, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here today.
All right. And stay with us. We'll return right after these words.